Hey, here we go. AJ Hinch, right on foul territory, coming off the Manager of the Year announcements yesterday. Didn't win it, but finished top three. Had a ridiculous season. I'm sure you're okay with it. So, AJ, how locked in were you to finding out the results? And did you think that you had a chance? And what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Well, hello, and thanks for having me. I didn't know what was going to happen. I do love that all three of us were in the AL Central, so we saw each other up close and personal like the whole season, and saw the work that Steven did and Q and we had a great run in the AL Central in general. And then when we were in the playoffs, there was a three-way text with the three of us talking about three of the last four teams standing in the American League came out of our division. So drop a little respect in the AL Central, and then we kind of duked it out last night. I think all of us thought Steven was going to win, but it's great to be nominated and the writers seeing what we're doing.
Do you feel like the writers maybe voted a little early? The fact that you only got the points that you got. I mean, that was my argument before you hopped on. And I texted you hey, when you win the American League Manager of the Year award, and you were like, that's a little presumptuous. But I texted it to 6 other people, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. I know you didn't. That was a copy paste text. Copy paste. I get it. But I know you could only text it to the 6 of us that were up for the award. So I felt at least a little bit exclusive club. But I don't know. I think this award is always unique. I mean, I've been in this grouping for a few times, and there are times I feel like, hey man, I did a really good job managing what I had or what I did, and then other years where I got a lot of attention, I was like, man, I still walk away thinking you could do a lot better. I agree with what Buck said on the show last night, which is this is such an all-encompassing award because a lot of what we do behind the scenes is never known except by coaches, players, and people in your organization. But it's hard to argue against any of the candidates that were up last night. I'm just super proud that the Tigers got back in the playoffs. We're going to get a big award, or watch our big boy get a big award tonight, and that's going to be incredible for the organization. And now the fun begins to try to get further and further.
Do you think this was your best performance, at least in the regular season, in your career, to take what you guys had, what position you were in, right on paper, where it's the trade deadline sellers and working with the pitching staff and kind of really having to get creative in the second half, and then still you put all that together, but having to win so many damn games to get caught up. So do you think this, when you look back, was your best regular season performance?
Yeah, it's unique. I mean, I hadn't had that happen in my career. I managed 10 or 11 years. My first year in Houston was coming off of a long run of losing. First time in 10 years that we made the playoffs. That regular season was almost picture perfect until September. We got caught by the Rangers, and we had to win the wild card. This year, I don't remember. I've had sort of big teams with big names and big win totals. That's a whole different animal to deal with as a manager. This one, we dealt with a lot of peaks and valleys, and we were a team that was trying to learn how to win, and we were scratching and clawing at the deadline. The deadline comes and goes, and we make a few trades. And then we got younger and got better, and then we got super hungry at the end. And I think the thing that I'm the most happy about with my staff and my players and the people around our team is we got better as the attention grew on us. Like, we were an incredible story for a long part of that second half. And the DNA and personality of our team didn't change. We just kept getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And to go from, virtually, counted out to being the hottest team in baseball and me having teams say they didn't want to play us in the playoffs, that was pretty cool.
Hinch, I thought your best managerial job was that time with the White Sox when you sent out the letter thanking the fans and you autographed the thing at the bottom. That was by far your best managerial job. How you didn't win Manager of the Year that year, I still haven't figured it out. But you tried for 5 minutes or so when you sent the letter out. It's fine. But
tell people to Google it if they don't.
Yeah, if you don't know the story, Google it. The White Sox sent out a letter that was signed by. It's crazy. Anyway,
I never got paid for that, by the way, either. I never got paid for that, so I don't know if I was an official employee at that time.
Do you care about this?
because they don't even give a trophy, do they, to the manager of the year? Do they give like a little plaque? It's like this big that you stick in your office. So when the GM walks in, you're like, hey, look at that, I got manager of the year. Because you guys even care. I mean, because I said Dave Roberts and Aaron Boone, they went to the World Series. They didn't even come close to winning this. So does this matter, or is this just all media, hullabaloo about, hey, a guy had a really cool year?
I think what I like the most about it is what it signals for your team, that you did something that people didn't expect. I mean, if you look at the 3 finalists in the American League, you see, some really cool years. I mean, Steven got off to a big start, huge start in our division, went wire to wire as a first-year manager and the best bullpen in baseball, and he was dialed in the entire year. You look at what Q did, where they had a 100-loss season, and now all of a sudden they were factoring in for a large portion of the season, and then obviously our story. So, this award is sort of bigger than you yourself, because there are decisions you make that people remember. There are decisions you don't make that nobody ever asks you about in this job. So, and the short answer, yeah, of course you care, and you love the attention on your team more than you care about it individually. Buck said it again last night. I thought he did a tremendous job on this show, where he's like, hey, be careful what you wish for, because what changes now is expectations, because it means that the team's all made strides moving forward to gain a little bit of momentum. And now, that improbable story isn't going to be as improbable when you did something positive the previous year.
I mean, Joe Girardi got fired after the year he won manager of the year. So, I mean, clearly, GMs, when you go in for an interview, do you hold that up on your resume? Or are you like,
I can't hold anything up. I've never won it.
So I know, but I'm saying I finished. Do you go in and you say I finished 3rd place for manager of the year? So put that on your resume.
I think this one is the most confusing of the awards, because it's hard to measure. And even all of our careers, we know the managers that made the most impact doesn't mean that it was the year that we won the most, or the years that that there was a bunch of drama behind the scenes and things were all kept in order. I mean, I think this award is often, to the person who made wasn't maybe expected to do as much, and all of a sudden they make an incredible run or do something uniquely special. I'm super proud for Pat Murphy too. I had Murph a couple different times in my career, played against him in college, and then all the way worked in the same organization with him, and to watch him take over that team and roll through into the play. All that was really cool. Mendy did a great job in New York. Schulte, we ran into a beast of a team in September. So I just love the story of these 6 teams, and that's probably the most gratifying part when you're the manager and the recognition is coming your way.
As a player, you're always looking at other players and you're like, man, if I could do that like that guy, if I could emulate the way he swings or the way he catches and throws, all that stuff. Do you do that as a manager? And are there any traits of Q or voter that you look at and you're like, wonder if I could do that?
Yeah, great question and great topic, because I think most of us look over in the other dugout and they're like, I wish I had that dude. I wish I had that dude. Like, you look over and there are some pretty comfortable guys when they got some beasts hitting in the middle of the order. But I think the thing that you notice as an opposing manager, obviously the strategy is one thing. I learn a little bit more about these guys in the post-game comments, like how they handle the media, how they handle the big decisions, the non-decisions, how they keep their morale up through the media. I mean, our players read and listen to everything. So you want to be a good face and a good message sender, whether it's directly to them or with your post-game comments. And I think one thing that specifically Steven does that it's so authentic in how emotionally tied in he is with his players, and he's emotionally present with them. And I didn't know, I called him after he had a sort of an emotional post-game press conference about kid hit a homer and Naylor's out at second and he's celebrating. And I wanted to know the backstory behind what made him so emotional, and his ability to be vulnerable is, I always try to be this stoic dude. I'm pretty even keeled. I mean, I'm getting a little bit better and better at reacting to things. Like that camera's on you all the time. And like, you know that you're sort of being watched by everyone. It's hard to be, completely yourself in how you feel. And I love how Steven does that. Q's a tactician, man. Like he's, and obviously he worked with Kevin Cash in Tampa, who I have a ton of respect for. He will work his way through like a lot of scenarios, and he's a little more unpredictable than he's given credit. I love that about him. So you look at other guys and see like, not only who they're working with, but what they're doing with their pieces, and kind of put yourself in their shoes.
Hinch. All right, so I got to ask this. Would you rather do what Stephen Vogt did and just run the division? Is it easier to do, hey, almost wire to wire for the Guardians, or what you guys did at the end and just come out of nowhere and whitewash everybody and use your pitching chaos and Tarik Skubal throwing 9 shutout every time out? Which one's easier? And which one, obviously, you'd rather do Stephen Vogt, or maybe which one's more fun? Probably the way you did it is more fun, right?
I'd rather get to the ALCS the way Stephen Vogt did. That one hurts me more than him getting this.
Well, he also they had a bye though. If you would have got the bye, maybe you got.
That's right. We have been well rested. That's right.
But you did beat your old team, so
we did beat Houston. That's right. So I think it brings up a great point about managing, and it's very different when you clinch early or when you're off to a big race. There's a sense of you holding on to something for the year. It's hard to keep your guys sort of dialed in, for as long as you have to, as opposed to like you're the thoroughbred that's like kicking that horse trying to get to the finish line and never really letting anything up the way that we did. I think that, they're both great. If you get to the playoffs, the celebration, the champagne tastes the same, but I think it's all unique to like your team. What I loved about our run is this was the first time for virtually everybody not named Matt Vierling. Vierling had played in the World Series. Everybody else on our team, Kenta had done some things with the Dodgers, but most of our players were like doing this for the first time. And I think the first time you do it, there's something special about the personalities that come out in your players, the nerves, the conversations, the energy, like all of that with your coaches and players. That first time is like the best time. And so, I'm not saying it was easier for the Guardians, who had a few more playoff tested players, but I think each team kind of has like what was best for our team was to learn how to win this way. Now we're going to, hopefully win it a different way.
All right. So one kind of funny one for me, and I know it's a division rival and all of that, but there was a guy that voted for Rocco Baldelli, top 3 here, 3rd. And like, I know it was a, crap season for them to go through that, but like how does that happen? I know you can't talk for the person, but like if you were in his shoes, you'd be like, I didn't deserve a vote, right? Like no matter what, even if it wasn't quote on you, like it just can't happen.
Yeah. Well, so I also think this is very unique. My chances, getting into this vote or even potentially challenging, like finishing first or second or whatever, was that the recency of like the finish. Like everybody remembers those last 40 games. Like what I would think about is like we got off to a great start in April. Like we played very well in April. We played okay in May. We were awful in June. And then we had this pit in June and July, and then we trade, and the narrative around our team changes, and then we had a sprint race. Like that was our journey. The Rocco part doesn't surprise me because like for the large majority of the season, they were part of the class of the division. Like they were the team that was ahead, both Kansas City and us. We were all chasing Cleveland, but Rocco didn't do a bad job. So I cringe a little bit at the thought that like just the bad finish or the slow finish or the losing in the last month defines the entire season. That's not how we managers think, but we know that that's gonna how we're gonna be judged a little bit on the final. Like that is part of playing the 162 is everything matters in the season. So, I know that during the year we looked up at Minnesota for a large majority of the season. Like they were going through a ton of injuries, and then we were watching the scoreboard every night to see how we were comparing up against them because they were one team we needed to leap. But I think Rocco's a terrific manager. I know he had a really rough end of their season, and that's kind of part of why the schedule is built the way it is to have to play all the games.
Listen, we got a problem. Half our viewers are not even subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. Do it.
I love a great deal, but I'm not going to run sprints in the outfield just to save a few bucks. It has to be easy. No hoops, no BS. With Mint Mobile, it really is that easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan. Purchase and activation is super easy too.
To get started, go to mintmobile.com/territory. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number.
To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/territory. That's mintmobile.com/territory. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/territory.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on their first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
Okay, so next year, when you go into your press conferences and you have to say, hey, it's your turn to ask a question, are you going to let Cody Stavenhagen have the first question every single one? And does he get an added bonus because he's the guy who voted for you in first place? So does he get is he like automatic, Cody, you're first, go?
And because he does Tiger territory.
Also because he does Tigers territory. But,
he does Tigers territory. I went on that podcast the other day before this was all revealed. And I'm glad that he voted for me, because I would have definitely had a one-liner for him if he hadn't, that he got me in the podcast or on the podcast before he had to reveal his vote. He was very quiet about everything. I had no idea how he voted. I did know that he had a vote, but when he went with me, I don't know that it gets him anything now. I can't give him that much more access. I try to talk to all of our guys, but man, it would have. I'm not sure which way I would have preferred it, having banter with him to be able to rag on him, or now I feel like, man, you actually did support me in this vote, and now I got to give you a little love.
All right, let's hit free agency a little bit, because you guys did all that you can do. And I think before those last 40 games, your free agency conversations may have been a little bit different than they are going into now. You're in free agency. How much do you keep in contact with ex-players that you've managed throughout your career? Because this is the time that you're kind of like cashing in, or you've deposited, not on purpose, but you've deposited into that bank account of ex-players, and now some of them are free agents. How much do you keep in contact with them before this time?
Well, you and I text. You're an ex-player. I had you. You and I text all the time. I don't text.
Yeah, but I'm awesome.
I don't text Brzezinski, so I have there's your separation between
I don't give out my number like Kratz does, okay? I'm not like Kratz. I don't just give my phone number out freely. You have to earn that right to have my phone number.
I've been asked a ton of questions about free agency with us, and obviously I try to stay dialed in with all the guys that I've had. And they're not all free agents. I stay in touch with our guys the best I can because you go through so much of this baseball life together and a ton of experiences. So I know where everybody's making natural connections. If that ever ends up flourishing, great. Right now, our first part of the offseason, I'm pretty dialed into what our current players are doing and what we need to do to dial it up and be a little bit better. Part of us getting better, while it may be external additions, it's also going to be internal improvement. So that part of it, and then you just wait. We wait like everybody else does. What's going to happen? The winter meetings are coming up. We'll all be there. And then the momentum will start to go. And then who knows how the winter goes. There's been times where it's been a flurry, and there's been times where it's been dragging out until the final hour. So I talk to our front office virtually every day in some capacity and stay dialed into what we're doing. And they know they can call on me if we need to go on the recruiting trail.
All right. First move, fire Joey Cora. That's it.
No chance. No chance. No chance. Who else is going to send every runner around third?
That's a great point. That's a great point.
He's the most aggressive third base coach in baseball.
Or Juan Nieves. You could get rid of him too. Your bullpen automatically be better.
Not a chance. This is the first time in my career at any stop that I've had that our staff in its entirety is coming back. Now, some of that doesn't mean everybody gets fired, but it means nobody got poached from your staff to get a promotion, and so that continuity is going to be awesome. I have a ton of quality on this coaching staff, and delivering that news that we were all coming back to run it back and then push this thing even further was pretty awesome as manager.
All right, so let's just finish with this, because not getting into individuals on the market, but are the Tigers going to go hard with transactions?
Well, the beauty of that is you got to talk to the big bosses up top. I mean, obviously there are a lot of ways for us to get better. I know everybody wants to know sort of, where the big splash is coming. We have a lot of areas that we can get better, and we're trying. I know our group's committed in the front office. We want to win. This is a place that you can come to and win. This is a place that you can come to and get better. We've shown that now, and anybody that comes our way is going to be joining a winning organization, and that I think is a good fresh start for the Tigers.
Okay, I like that. It's a good answer. Yeah,
I'll buy some Little Caesars so you guys can get a free agent. How's that?
Perfect.
Doesn't hurt.
We take all that we can get.
Some of those little cheesy bites they have out. Have you seen this?
Not for you, AJ.
Right. Not for Hinch. That's right. Not for Hinch.
Well, show me a receipt. Then I'll believe you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, buy a few $1,000 of cheesy bites. Well, AJ,
you can get my number from Kratz. Yeah. He's the one that I text the most on the show.
There's no doubt.
AJ, this Krasinski's actually a good texter. So
yeah, not a good phone caller person.
No, he's a texter. He's pretty funny actually. So maybe we'll get that connection going. But Hinch, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate the time as always that you give to us.
I want to know how he does his background like that. How do you get your it's just so perfectly it's so perfectly focused on your face. And then the background is just, look at my big league pad I have back here, but just focus on my face.
Well, just focus on my face. I'll worry about the background.
Yeah, and AJ Hinch, I'll show him the 1-click setting on the camera or tablet.
It's pretty simple.
I got that.
Hey, we all didn't go to Stanford. The Dr. Phillips of the West, okay?
Stop it.
Don't knock it till you come and do it.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.